What's up, everybody? Baby Huey here. Day number 4 of Aftershock in Sacramento. Super excited to talk to Dale from Seether. What's going on, man?
Nothing much. Good to be back on the West Coast.
Yeah,
it's been a minute.
I was gonna say, so we're just talking off the air, just how it's day number 4. For me, it feels like Las Vegas, where it's like, what's the rule? After 2 or 3 days in Vegas, you're like, all right, I'm ready to go home.
Yeah.
For me, 4 days at a music festival,
That's a lot.
My body is drained. It's tired. Like, one, I don't know if I'm cut for like the touring lifestyle, like being on the go all the time. For you, though, how do you balance that life with just being on the road so much in a touring band?
Man, it's something you kind of get used to. We've spent a lot of years touring very, very hard. With that band that's known as the real road dogs, and we've kind of slowed down a little bit as we've gotten older. Sean and I, we both have young children now, and so that really, I don't want to say it takes the wind out of your sails, but that it just kind of changes your outlook on a lot of things. And but then we're also a little older now, so we just we just do the important tours, or the tours we really want to do. We don't just jump at everything like we did. I mean, we used to tour like 9-10 months out of the year, just living on the bus, like but again, you get so used to it. When you do go home, you feel antsy. You never really relax. Like your mind's still on that bus, or that hotel room. So it's kind of nice now to slow down a little bit and live home and just be present and spend time with the family and stuff. It's turns out you can do both.
I was very lucky to catch you guys. One time came through San Francisco at the Warfield.
Right.
I think it's like 15, 16 years ago, roughly. I was trying to do the math in my head. Couldn't remember exactly, but that was such an epic night. And friends, and I think I've told this story on the air before. You guys were playing, and me and my old coworker, we were in the pit, jumping around, having a great time. After you guys' set, I remember we ran out, jumped in a taxi. This was pre-Uber, Lyft world.
Right.
So we jumped in a taxi, went over to the Fillmore, saw Tom Petty with Mudcrutch, one of his side project bands.
Okay.
And so it's just funny for me. I always think of Seether and Tom Petty, just this epic night of like seeing two amazing bands.
I would have gone to that. If I'd known you were going. I love Tom Petty, man.
Yeah, it was incredible. No, and like I have so many great memories with Seether.
Right.
Some I've actually gotten in trouble for. So when I was starting out in radio, I was like the board op guy, filling in, and you're pushing buttons, you're putting music in, make sure we're on time.
Right.
See, if we were running short on time, Seether was always my go-to band to throw on, and it'd be like maybe 6 a.m. or something. I remember one time I put, I think, Fake It on, and our whole PD was listening. And he calls the hotline. He's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I need a song." He's like, "You call me." I was like, "I made the decision on the fly." So I gladly took a licking from our old boss. Just 'cause I want to hear some Seether for the Bay Area.
Good looking out.
You're welcome.
The Bay Area needs more Seether. Let me tell you.
Exactly. Well, first, also congrats. You guys just released a new album. The Surface seems so far within the last couple weeks.
Yeah, September.
Yeah, and then Judas Mine. We've been playing that on our new music show, Bone Breakers.
Thank you.
Love it. The new album, definitely a little bit heavier.
Yeah.
I think that's a safe observation. And I believe this is the second album in a row Sean's produced. Just how'd you guys kind of, like, as a band, decide to kind of go more in this little bit harder realm? I mean, it's still, when I hear it, obviously it's a Seether song, it's a Seether album, but just was that a conscious effort to go a little bit harder?
I don't know if it's a conscious effort. We never really set out to make an album that's gonna sound a certain way or achieve a certain sound. It just kind of ends up how it ends up, and turns out that a lot of the heavier songs kind of rose to the top, and even though it's heavy, the songs still retain that melody that's always been really important to us. So even though it's heavy, it's still got that melodic element, which I think gives it that Seether sound. But with Sean producing it, it lets us do whatever we want to do. I feel a lot of times when we have worked with producers, it's almost like they get sort of marching orders from the label, and they're like, hey, make sure they don't get too wild, or make sure there's some radio songs.
Yeah.
And for label speak, that's like a ballad. They always it's always like, oh, let's get a ballad for for singles. And but I think we've proved that single doesn't necessarily have to be a ballad. It can you can have a heavier song and
be true to yourself.
Yeah, and be true. And it's cool. We can just do exactly what we do. And our label, I don't want to sound like I'm talking smack, because our label's actually really cool. And
yeah.
They give us basically carte blanche to do what we want to do these days. So it's cool. They just say, look, we trust you guys. Go ahead and let us know when it's done, and we look forward to hearing it.
That's cool.
It's really cool
that you have that freedom to go there now. I mean, I'm guessing partly because there's a newer label, I believe, or fairly newer label to compare to, because while I was doing research on you guys and just going down that rabbit hole, I was like, just kind of a lot of stuff, older albums, changing of album names from the older label you're on. I mean, it seems kind of tough that just they're kind of like, I don't know what's the word, nitpicking, micromanaging, but they're changing album names, do a cover,
right?
So it might. How is that now to be able to kind of have that freedom as a band?
It's great having the freedom. I see both sides of it. When you're a baby band and you just get signed, you really don't know or at least we didn't. We were so green, fresh off the boat from South Africa.
Yeah.
And we had no clue. We knew we loved playing music, and we're proud of our music, and we would do whatever it takes. So you do kind of bow to the label on a lot of stuff, but at the same time they're the professionals. This is what they do.
Yeah.
And they're trying to protect their investment. They're like,
True.
Look, we're putting this money behind you guys, so we want to do this. So they're doing what they think is going to be most successful, and give them that ROI that they're looking for.
Yeah.
But it's frustrating as a band when you get told, oh no, we want to do this, and especially if it's kind of an example. The first album we released, they're like, okay, we're going to do 10 different album covers, and we're like, wait, no, we don't. Why? Can we just have one really cool one?
Yeah, exactly.
You think back all your favorite albums, just one cool, iconic,
Totally.
Vulgar Display of Power,
Yes.
the Nirvana Baby.
Yes.
Can we just have one cool image that people will associate with us? They're like, no, we're going to do 10. And we're like, okay, and you kind of do it because, yes, sir.
You're following along, yeah.
Yeah, and then, so it's just one example, but it's, it is what it is. It's just water under the bridge and history, and you kind of pick your battles. But I feel like we've earned our right now to kind of take the reins and do what it is we want to do. And 20 something years down the line, they believe in us and think, okay, well, you guys have been doing this long enough to know what you're doing, so it's kind of cool.
I was gonna say congrats. I think as a band, you're just your 25th year right now, this year, I believe. I'm trying to do the math. 2+ decades. I love kind of reminiscing. I mean, this weekend we've been very fortunate to talk to a lot of bands. My coworkers that were here talked to a lot of bands that had a strong influence on us musically. Seether is one of those bands, especially as I just said earlier, getting into radio at the time. We were adding your music and stuff, and I love talking about hindsight. A band's career and their journey to get where they're at. You guys are so unique, obviously coming from South Africa. There's not a lot of bands come from South Africa and break in the U.S. For you, was it an easy decision? It's yes, we're going to leave South Africa. We have a chance to go get big as a band. Was it just an easy decision? Or did it take some convincing? Just in hindsight, what was that process to make that big move?
Not at all. It was, to be given an opportunity like that, we were kind of big fish in a small pond over there.
Yeah.
We'd gained popularity pretty quick in South Africa, but it's such a small market, especially the rock side of the sort of music pie. But yeah, we got a call from Wind Up Records in New York City. Mm-hmm. Hey, we got a hold of your guys' demo, and we're like, demo? That's our album. We put in all this work.
Yeah.
But again, it probably does sound more like a demo than anything.
Yeah.
But anyway, and they're like, we'd love to meet you guys, and they flew us out, and we played a showcase, and we'd never been overseas, and they're like, hey, welcome to Wind Up Records, and gave us hugs, and we're like, cool, we'll go home and pack. I mean, there wasn't a shadow of a, hey, maybe we should think about this. We had a drummer that came over, and he was a bit older than Sean and I, and he was married, and he had little kids, and he came over for a couple of weeks and said, guys, I can't do this, and went home, and understandably so, finally having kids now.
Yeah.
Being the old guy with the young children.
You understand now a little bit.
But no, I get it. There's no way I'd be able to leave my children and move to an entirely different country. Like, look, I don't know when I'm going to see you guys again. So I get it, but just Sean and I, we were youngsters. We were hungry. We were driven, and I mean, just whatever it took, we were willing to do it. And I mean, we didn't know if they were just going to turn around and send us back, or if it was going to work out. And fast forward 2+ decades, we're still doing it, and we're still
But I was going to say, it's such an interesting time period, and I don't know, maybe that I'm older and like nostalgia is a big thing in social media and all that stuff. Like reminiscing about the last 20 years. Seether, obviously, I'm a 90s kid. I grew up like when I was like 7-8 years old, discovering Nirvana back in '91 and blowing my mind, and like this grunge movement, and obviously going through the 90s, loving all the music from that time period. So when Seether came on the scene here in the US, I instantly fell in love, because I'm like, oh my God, because at that point I think I was in college, and I'm like, oh my God, this is stuff when I was a kid 10-15 years ago I was listening to.
Right.
But that early 00s or mid 2000s, that was an interesting time period. I feel like there's so many subgenres that was taken off between pop punk, metalcore, I mean, like
the rap rock,
new metal, all that stuff.
All that.
You guys to come out, and it has like some 90s sound, grunge sound, but obviously fresh for that time period. How did you guys, was it challenging, or were you nervous? Like, how are we going to fight through the noise of all these different genres existing at one time?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was unbelievably daunting, to come to America. I mean, the center of the world, really, in terms of entertainment. And we were just, guppies in the ocean now, after leaving the pond. I mean, we didn't really know what to think, what to do. We just, I guess, kept our heads down and just toured as much as we could. We got on Ozfest. I remember doing that. It was just a real eye-opener. That's one of the first real big, tours we did, and made a lot of friends on that tour. Drowning Pool. Chevelle was on that one. Just a couple of bands still around. We remain great friends to this day. But yeah, just seeing how it all worked, and just the scale, and just how big America is. Once you don't realize till you start driving your RV across it. You're like, my God, this place is giant. Especially coming from a tiny little country like South Africa.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, just watching all these bands, and Ozzy was up there, and these legends, and System of a Down was on that one, and they were just giant at that stage. And watching these bands, we're like, wow, how are we ever gonna try and compete with these bands? They're amazing, and they put on such good shows, and it just we just kept at it, and it just just kind of edged our way up, and now here we are. We playing later in the day at the huge festivals, with bands like Disturbed and Motley Crue's headline. I mean, just if we went back 20 something years, and you said, hey, this is gonna be the case, I probably wouldn't have believed you. I'd be like, nah, there's no way.
Well, it's really cool that there's so many bands from that time period, like kind of coming back, reforming. I mean, like Adam, 3 Days Grace, for example, back in the band.
Right.
Limp Bizkit's on this resurgence. There's a lot of amazing bands from the last 20 years getting this push. So for you guys to be releasing new music, is it like just kind of like, okay, it's a stream of water, and it's like, all right, let's just jump in and go with the ride of all these other bands doing their thing? It must be just like really uplifting, everyone working together at once. Yeah,
it is. It's, I mean, we've been going steady since all the way through. We haven't really taken a hiatus, so it's just kind of business as usual for us. But but again, seeing old friends on these festivals, it's great. It seems like a really good time for live music again, and I feel like for a while there it was not. I don't want to sound cool, but it's just I don't know. I think there's a bit more excitement now, and I don't know what's driving that. And there's also different things. There's a lot of like we've got out with us now Tim Montana. And he does this kind of crossover.
We talked to him on Thursday.
Like
he
metal
was
thing.
Incredible.
Yeah,
yes.
super dude.
Yes.
We become really good friends with him, and love the guy and love the music. And it's kind of this crossover thing. And I think maybe that's bringing in some people who are kind of on that borderline. Well, I'm a country fan, but let me go to a rock show.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So that's probably part of it. But I think there's just cool things happening, and it's just good to see, festival like this, just tons of people. It's completely packed out. Everyone's having a good time. Seeing our old brothers from back in the day. It's cool, man. It's having a good time.
I got a couple more questions. I know you got a busy schedule. One, I always was kind of just curious. As a band, with Sean, it's been very public with a lot of stuff he was dealing with, battling with. Obviously the loss of his brother, sobriety, public relationships. How, as a band, I'm trying to think the right word to say this. Obviously it's very challenging to focus as a band when you got all the outside stuff going on. Yeah. What was maybe like the key for you guys to overcome all those odds? Like I'm guessing obviously the support of the band was there to help them through this, but from your perspective, what was like maybe the key for you guys to keep going and not fall apart completely as a band?
Yeah, I mean we're brothers. We're family. Not blood necessarily, but it's almost thicker than blood. You see these people more than you do your own families.
Yeah.
So our bond's incredibly strong, and we're there for each other. Through whatever may happen. So I think that really helps. And then just the love of music. Having that to pull you through. I know for Sean, the music's very therapeutic.
Yes.
For him, lyrically, obviously he wears his heart on his sleeve with a lot of the stuff, and it's kind of a diary or a way of like getting stuff out of your system. So yeah, it's we love music, but it's almost more important than that. It's almost it fulfills a very important role, I think, in all our lives.
Yeah.
It's the motivation. It's what keeps you trying, keeps you moving forward. Keeps you motivated. It's the music's kind of the thing that sort of underpins all of it. So it's probably a combination of that stuff. And then maybe we don't plaster everything all over social media as well, which I think kind of helps too.
Having a
I know
private
if it's
life.
We're old guys or what, but I think we do keep our personal lives pretty personal and pretty private. So I think that goes a long way to keep your mental health on more or less the right track as well.
Speaking of social media, a couple more real quick issues. I forgot what year it was. I think it was debunked, but I think there was like an internet rumor or story. Sean was going to replace Kurt Cobain in Nirvana.
Okay.
I was like, do you remember that story? Like, I forgot which site posted that originally.
Yeah.
I'd be curious, your thoughts. What was Sean's thought? Just this internet rumor that he was going to be the new frontman for Nirvana.
First of all, I think he could pull it off. If they ever wanted to do it, and I would actually, and we're all big Nirvana fans, so that would be unbelievably exciting if it was a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, just
laugh at it.
Silly rumors.
Okay.
But yeah, if Dave Grohl out there and
Chris Novoselic, hey.
If Chris and Dave are out there listening, like, hey, why not?
Yes, exactly.
Can I come out too? Like,
I was gonna say,
I'll tech or something. I just want to be there just for the.
I was gonna say,
for
Pat
party.
Smear will be at the end. Pat Smear with second guitar.
Pat's got to be there too.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's got to be there. Yeah.
Listen, I'm also a big wrestling fan. Seether has been used in WWE pay-per-views in the past. Stuff. What did it just mean for you to have your music used in the wrestling world?
It's pretty cool, man. I like stuff like that. The wrestling stuff.
Yeah.
Movie stuff.
Yeah.
we haven't done anything like that in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know why. I guess we haven't really pursued it hard, but you know, we've had video games like you know, we had a song in Madden back in the day, and you know, speaking about that, you know, we had so many kids come up to us and be like, "Hey, I heard you guys on Madden," and because video games is where it's at now, you know,
exactly.
for the youth. So maybe we should look into that more. But it's always cool, you know. You whenever you hear a song anyway, you know, if you're walking through the store and your song comes on, it's like,
that's so cool.
I kind of look around like, no one cares, no one knows who I am.
I would be with you. Go, oh my God, this is awesome.
Yeah, but it's exciting, you know, and you almost want to be like, hey, that's me.
Yes,
you know,
totally.
You don't want to be like complete weirdo. But yeah, I live in Savannah, Georgia, so it's kind of a small town, a little out of the way, so no one expects you to kind of be there, you know. So, you know, it's I can count on one hand the time, you know, there's been a kid like, no way, you're that guy, you know, can I get a picture? It just doesn't really happen there, you know. And I don't know if it's because I don't expect it, or maybe it's not a big rock town, but you know, I kind of like it that way. So
that's awesome.
I'll take it. Yeah.
Listen, I mean, obviously, I could talk to you all day, but I know you got a lot of stuff going on. You got to get ready to play. Encourage everyone, Seether, check out their new album, The Surface Seems So Far, out now. We've been playing the new single, Judas Mine. And just, dude, thank you for just writing amazing music, part of the soundtrack to my youth and my early years in radio, just great memories. But yeah, I love being able to support you now.
Thank you very much.
At this point in my career,
thanks.
So thank you.
Yeah, and thanks for playing us, supporting us over the years. And I mean, that's really what we owe our success to is, you know, radio's been really good to us.
Yeah.
And that's really what it comes down to, us, you know, putting in the work, doing the tours, and then, you know, radio getting behind us and pushing us. And that's really, it's those two things. That's
awesome. Well, come to San Francisco. We'll do this continuous in person in the studio.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Thank you.